drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked off by the line. Darius Slay's got it. Coming back right side 25. Picks up a block at the 30. Darius at the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right. Stafford throws deep. Got a man out there. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Marvin Jones.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Cornbread.
Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? Friday, and we are back. You're getting basically a double dip. Got a show late on Thursday. You're getting another show from me and Grifka. Let's talk football like we always do. So, Grifka, we're going to skip by our news and notes today, and we're giving the people a quick Koolaid rewind of the Cardinals and Bills game, because we've been looking back through this season, picking out things, talking about things, refreshing the people's memory. I'll pitch the ball to you.
So just going from the start, it just seemed like in the first quarter, the offense itself was pretty stagnant. It just didn't seem very creative on the play calls. I know the lines were down. They didn't have Marvin Jones. Kerryon Johnson was out. But still, the offensive play calls, they weren't that great. It just kind of made you wonder. There's a lot of short passes. They did start to put a nice drive together, but then like Garrett Blunt fumbled the ball, turning it over on the Cards half the field, so that pretty much stunted the drive there. I don't think Matt Stafford was all that accurate in the first quarter. I know we had talked about the Cardinals defense, but even so, I don't think the Cardinals defense they weren't that great, and Stafford just didn't look good. He was missing wide receivers. And then pretty much near the end of the first quarter, I remember seeing this because I jotted it down, was one of the Ziggy Pandic almost sacks. He almost sacked him, but he forced him out of the pocket, and the real good defensive end, Okwara, came up with the sack. So it was nice Ziggy was there to do his almost stuff once again. So that pretty much covered the first quarter. It was just kind of a very blasé first quarter, going 0-0 into the second. And going into the second quarter, though, Lions got the ball. They were putting a good drive together, and then they had a couple. They had a play for like no gain, second down. Second down. They had a decent play, but then they had it was like a holding penalty, so it dropped them back, and it went to 3rd and 18. And they were in field goal range. So what they do, they did what the Lions always do. Instead of pressing it down the field, they went with the safe call, and they ran a draw for very little gain. And they settled for a Matt Prater field goal. And with 9.5 left in the second quarter, the points were finally on the board. Lions were up 3-0. And then after that, the Cards got the ball back, and they were actually putting a good drive together. This is probably rewatching the game. This was probably Rosen's best drive of the game, and they did a nice mix of run and the pass, and it seemed like the Cardinals wide receivers were getting a little more space, but they drove down, they got in good field goal range, and they were your boy Jared Davis came up with one of his patented sacks, the ones that he just kind of came out of nowhere, read the play really well and sacked him, and it held him to a field goal. But then some of the Ford Field magic must have went out to Arizona, because Cardinals kicker missed the field goal, kept the Lions up 3-0. Overall, watching the first half, going back and forth, this is one of those games where I thought Jared Davis really, it's one of those games we always talked about, hope he progresses and stuff. I thought he played a really good first half, reading pass plays. We know we've talked about him struggling in coverage, but he did have some nice plays where they tried to pass the ball to the flat and either stopped it for no gain or really short gain. And even on the run, he had some nice run stuffs there where before, there's games where he just takes poor angles and the guys by him. I thought he did really well reading the run plays, and for minimal gains for the Cardinals. But even after the first half, it was pretty blasé. It was only 3-0 lines at the half. What was your take on it?
So Grifka, I was waiting for you to come back to the huddle after I pitched you that run play, because you basically went on a long soliloquy there, about 10 minutes. So I'm back in here. Got to kick it back to the beginning of the game, talk about these jerseys, the white Krispies, the silver pants. One of the better looks from our Lions, man. Absolutely love it. Instead of the aqua pants like they were going with under Jim Caldwell. Just another good coaching decision by Matt Pat. I thought LeGarrette Blount did well early in this football game, and then of course as soon as I was like, oh man, he's getting some nice runs, doing good, fumbles the football. I thought another funny part of the first half was another opposing team hitting the upright. I mean, how many times can you do that against one team in a season? We definitely set the record for that. 3-0 first half. I mean, to me, that was just like listening to you, Grifka.
Yeah,
I was just snoozing through this. So
moving on to the second half.
Those are my thoughts.
Once again, going into the third quarter, it just looked, once again, it makes you wonder what the offense is doing. They're not trying to drive the ball down the field at all. Once again, a lot of safe plays. And one of those games where it looks like you start to think that the coaches are just going to allow the defense to, win it for them, as long as, Stafford doesn't turn the ball over, something like that. It almost had that feeling. It's just like, well, the defense is playing good. Don't turn the ball over. If we score, cool. If not, the defense is going to win this one for us, which ultimately kind of led to that, because in the third quarter, that's where Slay had his pick six. Finally, the Lions score a touchdown with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Go up 10-0. That was just my boy, big play. Chatting with my friends were like, I don't know. My one friend was like, I could have made that play. It's like Rosen threw the ball right to him. But still, I'll take that. It seems like that would be a play like Nevin Lawson wouldn't be there. So I'll take the pick six from my boy Slay any day of the week. How'd you feel about that there, Derek?
Oh, man, I love the pick six by Slay. It's great when you can take advantage of the rookie. Josh Rosen just ran the play that was called and threw it out to the right side, and Slay knew it right when he saw it. I love the pick. I love, easy house call, and I love the high step and holding the ball up. As Dion would say, you got to hold the ball up. So absolutely great play by 23. I'm so frustrated, that I sold that helmet for $20 on eBay.
Man, I can't believe you did that. And that was a nice signature on there, too. It was very legible. And next year, it seems like the guy always comes over. It seems like we can get his autograph every year, and we've only got it a couple times. So
he's a man of the people, man, Darius Slay. He loves the people.
Yeah, next year we'll get him and TJ Jones for you. So let's move on to the fourth quarter here. Once again, Rosen showed a little bit of life. They're putting decent drive together. One of those things, though, it was a third down, and the Lions got a roughing the passer call. One of those plays that leaves you scratching the head and yelling at the TV screen, going, "What are you doing?" Because all you're doing was helping them out. That drive ultimately led to a field goal for the Cardinals, cutting the lead to 10-3 with a little over 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And don't get me wrong, at this point, even though the offense has been stagnant, it just seems like one of those games like the Lions would blow it, out in Arizona in the past, because we've seen that before. And I'm always thinking that. I'm just like, you can't lose this. You've been dominating this long, even though the offense has been stagnant. It's like, you can't lose this game. But then my boy, Double Z, if he had 3 Z's, he'd be sleeping. Zach Zenner shows up, and he's running hard. And offensive line, it's one of those things where we had talked about in the past on past shows. How come the line just doesn't dominate when they can running the ball? And they seem to really do that in the fourth quarter against the Cardinals. Zach Zenner was running hard. Obviously he started to get more playing time late in the year with over LeGarrette Blount, which is fine. But on the TD, he went in for a touchdown with 4 minutes left. But most of that drive was Zach Zenner. He had 7 carries for 45 yards, and he ended it with a short touchdown. So, once again, not counting for this guy to be the starter, but he did show a little life there. And they went up 17-3 with 4 minutes left in the game. Really, after that, it was just the Cardinals trying to, drive the ball down the field, try to score as quick as they can. And Rosen was missing guys by a bunch. It wasn't, it wasn't even close, some of these passes. And it pretty much ended the game from there. So pretty, laissez-faire game to watch. I know at one point I texted my friends in the third quarter, and it was still 3-0, and my friend fell asleep at, like, whoa, and he didn't know what time of the game it was because it was still 3-0. So he was confused. So other than that, it was I'll take the W anyway. We get it. So I was pretty happy with that. What's your ultimate take on this game before we move on to the Bills game?
Yeah, man, you hit on most of the points. I mean, I did like the hard running from your boy Double Z. I mean, with double initials, how can you go wrong? I mean, this guy's an all-pro, right? Just because of his name. I also thought Deshaun Hand had a really nice sack towards the end of the ball game where he ran a really nice stunt and was able to get after Josh Rosen, get him to the ground. Like you say, 17-3. I remember when I was watching the recap, I was going, oh, wait, is the game over? I remember on like that late sack, I was like, oh, that's it? So it was one of those games where Lions went down and did what they need to, beat up on a terrible team. But, man, there wasn't much to write home about other than the Slay pick and Double Z doing some running. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it for this game. I mean, once again, it's a road win in the NFL. Tough to come by even against the hapless Cardinals. But like you said in the past, it seemed like the Lions would play bad no matter how good they were out in Arizona, and it seemed like Arizona would sneak away with a W. So I'll take this W any way we can. So once again, we move from the heat of Arizona to the next week. We'll move on to the Bills game, where I know early in the year, before the season started, this is a game we're worried about, being cold, snow. Me, myself, I always like to watch those snowy games where you can never see the field, and they have to bring out the guys on the shovels on one end while the actions happen on the other end. I love those games. I really do, and that's kind of what I was hoping for here with this Bills game, but that did not happen. It was chilly out there, but it was sunny. But this is one of those games that we're facing another rookie quarterback in Allen, which I know this guy's got a cannon for an arm. One of those prototypical looking quarterbacks. And still, though, thought the Lions had a good chance of going into Buffalo and winning this game. So the offense looked pretty stagnant again in the first quarter here. Not a whole lot happening. Makes a lot of head scratching calls with was it passes short of the sticks? If it's 3rd and long, short of the sticks, hoping the guy gets the extra few yards, and wasn't happening. So the once again, first quarter makes you wonder. It's just like the same as last week out in Arizona, wondering where the offense was and when it was gonna come around. But then went to the second quarter, and Kenny Golladay, he started to. This is where he started to have a day, and I'll touch on his day at the end of this. But he was making some really tough catches, not like ones where he was wide open, but Stafford was that kind of fitting in windows, and Golladay was bringing it in, even with guys kind of hanging on him. And on this particular drive, he had a couple catches like that, and it led to Andy Jones TD. Remember Andy Jones? I remember watching him in training camp. We were just kind of like, who is this guy? He looks slow. His field work looks slow, and we're just like, this guy ain't making the team. And he ultimately made a touchdown. But there was a botched snap, and the snap was mishandled, and the Lions were only up 6-0 with a little under 11 minutes left in the second quarter. What'd you think when you saw our boy Andy Jones catch that TD?
Who? Andy Jones. I've heard about this guy. It's like one of those where you hear about somebody, but you have no idea what they look like because you've never seen them or know who they even are as a player. So when he came in and played, it was just kind of like, oh, that's Andy Jones. It was just odd. I was hoping you were going to pitch it back to me and say, what do you think about Sam Martin dropping the hold of the extra point? Because as I said on last show, this guy comes out with a glove, a towel, pine tar. You might as well have a little kicking stand that he puts it on when he's out there. I mean, all you have to do is catch the ball and put it on the ground, Sam Martin. It's one of your 2 jobs in life. You think you'd be able to do it, but of course not. He's got every apparatus known to man to try to, make his hands stickier to hold the football down. He still can't get it done. Like, get rid of this bum. But other than that, I think you hit on it. I mean, Kenny Golladay, some big plays here early, and Lions coming into Buffalo with, not terrible weather. Buffalo in those crazy all-red unis with Josh Allen at the helm. I was surprised again to see Josh Allen be able to run around a little bit. I was thinking that that was just luck the last couple games where he had been running, but he does seem to be a big mobile quarterback. And welcome to the NFL.
So after the Andy Jones touchdown, and once again we were surprised that he was even playing because of what we saw at the preseason camp, the Bills got the ball back and they proceeded to turn on their offense. Now there was a pass interference call by our sock puppet Mike Ford out there. Looked like a windsock run on the field, but he was nice enough to give the pass interference that actually took the ball down to a 1st and goal with a little under 9 minutes left. And then shortly after that, a play or two later, it was one of those where, like you said, Josh Allen, you just mentioned the scramble and ability. The Lions actually had pretty good defense on it. They were looking to pass for a touchdown, but the Lions' defensive backfield, did a nice job in coverage, and Allen really had nowhere to go. But once the pocket broke down, he was able to roll outside. It was one of those plays once again where Jared Davis just took a bad angle at it, and instead of going to his outside shoulder, he let Allen get out around him. As opposed to forcing him back inside where all the help should be, and Allen was able to scamper him for a touchdown with 8 minutes left. So, Buffalo, being in Buffalo, was able to handle the snap, and they went up 7-6. So, once again, I know you're a big fan of Jared Davis, but right there we always talk about his angle sometimes just, makes you screaming at the TV. So, Lions get the ball back. Kenny Golladay was just having a game. Yeah, Buffalo, we talked about it. They had a good defense, but gosh, Galladay was just showing up. He had a couple more good catches, one for 40 yards, and he was just chewing up Buffalo's defense. They had a nice drive put together, and our boy double Z, 3 Z's, he'd be asleep. Zach Zenner goes in for a short touchdown, and at the halftime, Lions take 13-7. They're up 13-7 at the half. Feeling good about that. I know me and you were texting back and forth after Double Z scored. So once again, they were up in Buffalo. It seemed like the offense had come to life. Golladay was having a game, and I was feeling pretty good about this one. What's your take at the half of this game?
So first of all, Grifka, you can't use the same joke twice in a podcast verbatim. I mean, we heard the Triple Z previously in this show already. So I know you like to go to the well, and I know that's why we like to use the bell, but we got to come up with some new material for Double Z. I mean, the classic, you love them because double initials. I mean, that's a classic go-to, but I got to call you out on that. Secondly, your boy, the Windsock, I had that noted down too. Mike Ford, just roasted and toasted, as we've been saying on previous shows. Nowhere to be found on this throw. Josh Allen, like you said, on his touchdown earlier in the football game. I mean, I'll give it to you. Like you say, Jared Davis, again, to revert back to something I previously said, I'm willing to live with some of these plays. Now, I don't like this one because it was deep in the territory. He had him dead to rights. He missed it, and it ended up causing a touchdown for the opponent. So it's a bad play by him. He over pursued. He got going too fast and a little bit bad angle, and it cost him. So that's never fun to see. But yeah, I mean, the other thing I want to say quickly about Kenny Golladay is it really makes me have a lot of good faith in Bob Quinn that he was able to find this guy in the 3rd round because, as much as I try to tout, I have a decent draft record from guys I like to guys that pan out. I mean, Kenny Golladay was not on my radar when he was drafted. He wasn't one of my targets. I didn't really have him very highly rated, didn't know much about him. It was only till they took him and I got to see him for a year, and then I went back like we're doing now and did a rewind of the season, and I was like, man, this number 19, Kenny Golladay, is big. He's physical. He goes up and catches the football. He can run after the catch. He's very humble. All that stuff crystallized, and that's why I was big on him coming into year 2. But I think you're finally coming around, Grifka, that, man, every time you watch this guy, got to find a way to get him more involved, and he's an absolute specimen in the jersey and shows up.
Yeah, like I said before, he's definitely ahead of the curve where I thought he would be at this time, and pleasantly surprised. But come talk to me in 3 years. I'll let you know if he's good or not.
Okay.
So let's move on. Second half, we're going into the 3rd quarter. I really didn't jot down any notes from the 3rd quarter. Once again, the offense just didn't look good. Defense was playing pretty tough. I mean, the one thing I do remember is that the Bills put a nice little drive together, and they got down to a 4th and short. And then your boy Ashawn was able to stop Allen before it was like 4th and 1, and it wasn't even a long one. He was able to make a nice play, penetrate the offensive line, and stop Allen short of the 1st down, giving the Lions the ball back. but that was pretty much it for the third quarter. I mean, the Lions got the ball back. They didn't do anything with it. They, the whole second half still, they were, if they have third and long, they were throwing the ball short of the sticks. Once again, you always say get to the sticks, and they weren't doing that. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, they're throwing a 5-yard pass out to the flat. Then in the fourth quarter, still 13-7 Lions. Bills get the ball again, and I thought the pass interference that was on Slay at the 11-minute mark, roughly, I didn't think that was a good call at all. I mean, you may feel a little different, but I didn't. And it's not just because Slay's my boy. I just didn't think that was a good pass at all, or a good call at all. And then shortly after that, Foster beat our boy, Mike Ford again for a touchdown. Once again, I know we had talked about this. Watching Ford run is just kind of like watching a windsock outside a car dealership. Just made me laugh in the line, and that put the Bills up 14-13 with about 10.5 to go in the fourth. And then,
yeah, I jumped the gun, man. I apologize, Griff. I got ahead of us there and talked about that play. But on that play, I mean, basically the receiver kind of ran a crossing route. I don't know what Ford's deal was, but he just never got there. And he had to be at least 3 to 4 yards behind this receiver when he makes the catch. And Lions are able to get him down before he gets to the end. Oh no, did he get in the end? Yeah, he got in the end zone on that play. So nobody was close, and nobody could close enough, obviously, to come make the tackle. That was just terrible coverage by Mike Ford. I don't know if he slipped or what happened, but he got burned. And again, I have in my notes by some random Bills receiver. I mean, I couldn't even tell you who it was. Some nobody ended up making him look silly.
So like a little over about 10.5 left. The Bills are now up 14-13, but and once again, feeling kind of down again because the offense really isn't showing a whole lot. But then Lions get the ball back, and they drive down, and they get within field goal range, and they do what the Lions usually do. It's a 3rd and long. It's actually 3rd and 8, and they run a wide receiver screen, and either the Bills knew a screen was coming or somebody didn't. Two people that were supposed to block decided not to block because this play was totally blown up from the start. And Lions settle for a long field goal out in Buffalo, and everybody knows how the winds can swirl up at Ralph Wilson Stadium, and Prater missed the field goal. So it's one of those things where the Lions like, okay, we'll get the points. Prater never misses from 50, but you're up in Buffalo, and what happens? Prater misses it. So there we go, and that seems to happen.
I have this in my notes. I put only a 48-yarder because for Matt Prater, that's usually pretty money. I know you went to the Grifka, the winds are swirling, but I don't remember the weather being a huge issue. So for him to miss a 48-yarder the way he did was disconcerting, and with 5 minutes left, that would have put us up in the lead. Really crucial miss there by the kicker, which, not much on the line, so part of me was kind of happy, but losing to the sorry Buffalo Bills was still inexcusable, even though I wanted the draft pick equity at this point.
Well, even so, I mean, the Lions still did have a chance to win the game. I mean, the Bills were moving the ball a tiny bit, and they got about they were on the 40-yard line, and it was a 3rd and 7, and Davis jumped off sides, and it made the play actually 3rd and 2, where they ran like a sweep, and the Bills running back, I can't remember who it wasn't Thurman Thomas, so he stepped out of bounds, making it 4th and short, and at this point it didn't matter. I mean, Allen, him being so tall, he just ran a quarterback sneak. He just pretty much went over the top, took the snap, and jumped on the center's back, and just fell forward and got the first down, pretty much ending the game with the Buffalo Bills coming away with a 14-13 victory. So, like you said, it helped our draft stock, but still, I mean, I'm a Lions fan. I like them to win at any chance they get. So, disappointing Sunday for me.
Now, Grifka, I was listening to you. I wasn't sleeping, but did you break down the whole 3rd and 7 offsides?
Yeah, I mentioned how Davis jumped offsides because the play was actually an incomplete pass, and that's because I remember watching the game and even the replay. It's like, if they would have stopped them, the Lions would have got the ball back. They would have punted, but still, I mean, 3rd and 7 gives them new life.
Okay, so maybe I was sleeping while you were talking, but I apologize. But that to me was the big play, not only the offsides, but then the slap in the face of just like, oh, we'll just go for it on 4th. And I mean, It was, to me, I think it was 3rd and 7. So if it's offside, it should be
Third and
third and
two.
or fourth.
It went to third
Yeah.
and two, and remember they ran that sweep where I think it was Tracy Walker came up and he went to tackle him and he totally dropped his head, so he missed it. And then because he would have got him for like maybe a really short gain, maybe even a no gain, and he missed it. And so,
Oh,
but
that's right.
the help was there and it forced him outside. But where they spotted the ball, it came down to fourth and short. I mean, it was fourth and
Ah,
inches.
okay. Yeah, so then I mean, still though, the game's in the balance, and they just say, "Oh, it's 4th and short. We'll just get it and beat the Lions." And we got all that beef in the middle. I was surprised we weren't able to sort of put up a fight there. He just kind of easily went forward for the first down, ended the football game. So, an ugly game in Buffalo. A bad loss to a bad Buffalo team. But other than Kenny Galladay, we had nothing offensively, and missing the kick, which is not normal, pretty much cost us, and then just those stupid offsides throughout the game, or just not being able to get off the field, penalties, all those things cost us in this game. So, bad loss by the Lions for sure.
I have a couple questions here for you, just by watching the last few games. My first one is, I mean, like I said, I want to touch on this earlier when I was talking about this. And this game against Buffalo, Kenny Galladay went for he had 7 catches for 146 yards. And I want to make sure I got that right. So I actually went back and checked the stat because it just seemed like this guy was just running wild and free, catching long passes. And it just really made me wonder what his stat line was because, just watching the recap, they don't always show the stat line. So the guy had 7 catches for 146 yards. So are you ready to anoint this guy, or do you really think he is? Marvin Jones comes back. Do you think Kenny Galladay is he the team's number 1 wide receiver, or would that still fall to Marvin Jones?
I mean, you might be asking the wrong guy here, but when I watch what he did his rookie year and then what he was able to build on the second year, and the build that he has, the size, the leaping ability, the body control, the run, the speed, I feel like he's a number 1 like quality receiver. Now, would I want to have Kenny Galladay and like some low-level complement pieces? No, but good passing game, I think so. So, he's got everything it takes, and I think it just comes down to who they put around him, and then also, I mean, you saw in a game like this, when you throw it up, he goes and gets it. So quit being so conservative and quit saying, "Oh, well, we get it to him when he's in the progression or when the defense dictates." No, you dictate. You dictate to the defense with a guy like this. So I think he has everything to be a number 1. But when you line up the number 1 receivers in the NFL, I think he'd be, middle of the pack at best when you start stacking the best of the best that are out there across the league. So great talent, see what he does. Should be a huge year for him.
Okay. And one other quick question for you. And I know we talk about this guy, and I'm bringing him up because, like you said, he's like my favorite guy on the team, and that's Zach Zenner for his double initials. But
what would it be if it was 3?
He'd be sleeping, man. So this game, I checked this stat as well because it seemed like he was running pretty hard, and I thought he got the ball actually more than this. But the game against Buffalo, he had 10 carries for 45 yards. It's about 4.5 yards a carry. So that's good in the pros. I feel like anything over 4 in the pros is a good rush. And like I said, the stat I threw out against the Cardinals, that one drive, he had 7 carries for 45 yards. So do you think this guy actually do you think there's a reason why the Lions keep overlooking this guy? I mean, I'm not calling this guy Walter Payton or anything like that, but it seems like he could have a definite role on the team. And even in this year's draft, they're like, the Lions will go get a big body to run the ball, and he's a bruiser. Could Zach Zenner be that guy, or do we just kind of look by this guy because he's a small school guy? And I don't know. It just seems like he gets looked over a lot, and I don't know. I'm not saying him like Levine Toilolo. We might have found something. So what do you think about Zach Zenner? Could he be that bruiser we're looking for, or would you want somebody else, to fill that role instead?
Grifko, let me start by saying this. Zach Zenner is a tough guy. He's humble. He's super smart. He's been productive at times when given the opportunity. And with all that being said, he's Zach Zenner. I'm happy he's on the team. Happy that he's been able to produce as an undrafted type guy. He had great production at a low level in college, as you kind of stated. To me, he's a 4th, running back where you have a beast a complement and then a third down type back in front of him. He can add stuff on special teams, but I don't think they're looking past him. I think when he's played decent is when he's been called upon, when all the guys in front of him have been hurt, and there's a reason that all the guys are in front of him. So, I think he'll be around for a couple more years, either with the Lions or maybe another team, and then he'll be off to finish up his medical school and probably do great things in the world. But I'm not willing to increase his role, really. I just think you need to slot him in right, as the Lions seem to have done. In a pinch, he can give you some good runs, some good numbers, and that's about what you're hoping for. So that's my take on your boy, Double Z.
I'd still take him over Mike Weber any day of the weekend, twice on Sunday. So, well, that's all I got over these.
We're gonna get in
over these two games. One W and one L, coming into two more games, finishing out the Lions season, which me and you will cover this weekend. So, is there anything else you want to touch base on?
Well, not right now, but at some point we're going to have to do a therapy session about why you hate Mike Weber so bad, because it keeps coming up. So we'll have to get into that.
You're going to have to get the bell out or the buzzer, and you're going to have like the 5-second delay when I talk about him.
Yeah, I can't wait. So, that's pretty good.
I want the Lions to draft him, just so when we go to training camp, I can just bust on him the whole time, because then we'll get kicked out. But if they have donuts again, I make sure I'll take plenty of donuts on my way out, just to stand there and just bust on Mike Weber the whole time. He comes over to sign an autograph, and I'm like, no, dude, you suck. You suck. So, yeah, I almost kind of want him drafted just so I can do that.
Oh, boy. There's deep issues here, people. I don't know what Grifka's problem is, but I got nothing else, man. We rumbled through these games pretty quick. Glad to get these 4, ball games, 4. Other than the Arizona win, 3 losses and 1 win. Not fun to talk about. Offense stagnant, lots of injuries. Tough to go through these, but brighter things are ahead. So, Grifka, let me cue up what we're going to do. So, we're heading into the weekend here. We know we got the Combine. Me and Grifka are both going to do a solo show over the weekend. I'm going to take the Vikings game, an absolute atrocity, and talk about that, as well as give you some fun Bobby Quinn and Matt Pat nuggets that they gave away at their presser at the Combine, and maybe talk some Combine observations I have as well. And Grifka is going to try to come to you people with the Packer game, an absolute beatdown in the final season. Grifka hates the Packers. He hates everything about them. I'm sure that'll be entertaining. And then we'll be done with our rewinds. We'll be free to break everything down the following week. So with all that being said, Grifka, you got anything else for the people?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for hanging in there with us with our tech glitch this week and me getting over my cold. I'm so hyped up for Lions football. The Combine here is an absolute great event. I love watching it. Have lots of takes. And you better get ready, Grifka, because we're talking free agency. We're talking draft. I'm ready to take you to school.
Okay.
So with all that, we'll be back next week on Wednesday and Friday right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. For me, for Grifka, we hope you guys have a great week. Take care, everybody.
Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.